Put it up, Ryan. Thanks, Davey, and good afternoon, comrades. This really is an honour and a privilege to be speaking at this great event, which represents the finest traditions and history of our movement. And I bring with me the greetings of the Unite Executive and our two Joint General Secretaries, Derek Simpson and Tony Woodley, who you've already heard is here on the platform. We meet this year, comrades, in challenging times, but they are socialist times. They're times which should give all of us on the left renewed confidence in our values. Free market fundamentalism has failed and lies in ruins all around us. Unrestrained capitalism, whether you call it Thatcherism, neoliberalism, or even Blairism, which swept away the once great coal mining industry in Britain, now inflicts the same problems in every industry, in every part of our economic life, from car factories to the high street. The only job safe today is that of a debt collector. And people are angry. People are waking up and asking, why does life have to be like this? They don't see why bankers should be bailed out while working people go to the wall, losing their jobs, their hard-won paying conditions, and even their homes. They're also angry at the politicians who feathered their own nests while turning a blind eye to the damage that the City of London and the Bonus Drunk Brigade were doing to our communities. So, comrades, we have a challenge today, a new challenge. It's no longer to say that capitalism isn't working. Even the Financial Times admits that. Our challenge is instead to give expression to that anger and to spell out a visionary and practical alternative. But let's just pause to reflect the scale of the crisis. Workers are joining the dole queues at the rate of over 100,000 a month. The young are worst affected. Those of us who can remember the 80s can see the spectre of another lost generation before our eyes. Skilled jobs and modern factories are under threat or are already closing, and we know that if they go, they won't readily return. Governments around the world have spent trillions of dollars to prop up the banks. But they're already saying, including our Labour government, that we're the ones that are going to have to pay back the debt in cuts to our public services down the line. Employers are putting pressure on to freeze and cut wages and worsen conditions. Yet on the other hand, we see little sign of the bankers responding to public outrage and curbing their own excesses. And it's obscene that a state-controlled bank, the RBS, should now be looking to pay its new boss nearly £10 million. Such greed has no place in our society. But it's an indication, brothers and sisters, that the people at the top who've benefited most from the 30 years of casino capitalism are not going to let go lightly. They just want to reflate the punctured tyres of the market economy, with taxpayers' money, of course, and take us all for another ride. Well, we have to say, never again. Never again rip-off privatisation. Never again light-touch regulation to the bankers, but at the same time, draconian anti-union laws for working people. Never again a tax system that lets a hedge fund billionaire pay less tax than the office cleaner. Never again watching housing costs soar while blocking councils from building new homes. More than ever, people need an economy which works for working people. And it's our movement, and only our movement, that can deliver. First, we need action to save jobs, whether that's lobbying and campaigning or direct action to stop factory closures, including occupations. Second, a determination to save public services from cuts. Health, education and welfare must not be held hostage to pay for the city's greed. If debts need to be brought down, then let the burden fall on those that caused the problem. Third, we need to stand for social justice. This crisis should be a signal to reduce inequality, not see it widen. But we need to do more, comrades, because when we talk about recovery, we're not just talking about getting ourselves out of this recession in interest of our members. We must also be talking about a recovery in the spirit and strength of the labour and socialist movement. The opportunity is there. The entire ruling elite is discredited. People want to see an alternative. They want secure and stable economies with a range and fulfilling jobs. They want a much narrower gap in incomes, with speculation and gambling for profit ruled out. They want decent public-run public services without the Treasury Acts hanging over them from one year to the next. And they want equality for all that work, with strong trade unions and an end to exploitation. And we have to say, comrades, not only that are these demands just and reasonable, but that they cannot be secured through the present system based on the domination of private ownership. These are old truths for us in the labour movement, and we must broadcast them loud and clear. 25 years ago, the Tories and the ruling class tried to destroy the spirit of the miners. And where are they now? Nicholas Ridley, Sir Keith Joseph and others dead and buried. Thatcher in a twilight zone. But here we are, 25 years later, and the spirit of the miners is as strong as ever. Because what the bosses class fail to understand is that spirit courses through our very veins. It stands for decency and dignity. It stands for justice and fairness. It stands for community. And above all, comrades, it stands for solidarity. These are values that they have no concept of. But these are the very values that stand us apart and make us strong. And that's why they failed to defeat the miners. And how do I know that? Because I see before me an army of miners, from our schools and our hospitals, from our factories and our town halls, from our docks and our construction sites, from our roads and our railways. A vast army bound together by a common cause to create a better society. Brothers and sisters, there are times when our hearts are heavy, but our heads are never bowed. And on this, the 50th anniversary of the Cuban Revolution, let me leave you with the words of Che Guevara, who, when asked, how long must the struggle continue, he replied, hasta la victoria siempre, until the final victory. Comrades, that is the task that lies before us, to pass on the spirit of the miners from generation to generation. We have a world to win, for peace, for prosperity, for humanity and for freedom. I salute the Durham Miners and I salute you, comrades. Thanks for listening.